Hey everyone, I'm Johnny, and today we are looking at 5 excellent ground attack aircraft of World War II. This list is not exhaustive, and with all lists of this nature, very subjective, as the true success of any aircraft can be contributed to multiple factors, such as ease of production, length of service, innovation, and not just performance. Number 5, the de Havilland Mosquito. This will be the most unique and well-rounded aircraft on the list. The Mosquito is not just a deadly ground attack aircraft, but good at virtually every role imaginable, from reconnaissance to its role as a night fighter and as a tactical bomber and pathfinder. It's also uniquely constructed, made primarily out of inexpensive plywood, hence the nickname, the Wooden Wonder. Its construction also made it lightweight, which combined with two Rolls-Royce Merlin V12 engines, similar to what you'd see in a Spitfire, the Mosquito was blisteringly fast, capable of speeds in excess of 400 miles per hour, with a range of more than 1,500 miles. The Mosquito's powerful engines also meant it was ideal at mounting huge guns, with some variants mounting 6-pound cannons, capable of destroying tanks and even going after U-boats. The Mosquito could also carry up to 8 rockets, along with its typical loadout of 4 Browning 303 machine guns and 4 20mm Hispano cannons. The Mosquito was armed to the teeth. In January of 1943, during the 10th anniversary of the Nazis seizing power, a Mosquito attack hit the main Berlin broadcasting station, taking Hermann Goering's speech off the air.
The pilot calmly discusses his ordeal with other members of his squadron.
Number 4, the Hawker Typhoon. Originally intended as a high-altitude interceptor to replace the Hawker Hurricane, unfortunately its performance at altitude always lacked. However, it did prove successful at intercepting Focke-Wulf 190s at low altitude, and it was quickly proven a capable ground attack aircraft, able to mount rockets and 4 20mm Hispano autocannons. The Typhoon was equipped with a powerful 2,200 horsepower Sabre engine, allowing it to carry up to 2,000 pounds of bombs, and when fully equipped with bombs it was often referred to as the Bombfoon. Typhoons were highly successful during the Normandy landings, able to support infantry by harassing German armor. Though statistically only about 4% of rocket attacks from ground attack aircraft such as the Typhoon actually hit their target, that number still remains significant, as by the time of the Normandy landings there were 27 fully operational Typhoon squadrons, all flying ground attack sorties. Typhoon rocket attacks restricted German armor movement, damaged German morale, while boosting Allied morale, and helped to spot enemy tanks or ground forces. Most importantly, if intercepted during their ground attack role, Typhoons could hold their own in a fight. Top-scoring Typhoon ace J.R. Baldwin claimed 15 aircraft shot down between 1942 and 1944. Approximately 246 Axis aircraft were claimed by Typhoon pilots. Number 3, the Ilyushin IL-2 Sturmovik, Sturmovik being the Russian word for ground attack aircraft. This is an important aircraft on the list because it's actually the most produced aircraft in all of World War II. When counting all the variants, 42,440 were built. This plane was often referred to by the German forces as the Flying Tank, which is a well-deserved name given its almost 2,000 pounds of armor. The Ilyushin began mass production in 1941, and at the time of the German invasion of Soviet Russia, during Operation Barbarossa in June of 1941, only 249 Ilyushins were in service. The Russians went to great lengths to protect aviation factories building the Ilyushin, and factories near threatened Moscow were moved to the Ural Mountains. At first production was slow, but Stalin personally involved himself, threatening the lives of factory managers, knowing how essential the plane was. By the time of the Battle of Kursk in 1943, hundreds of Ilyushins were available. Not only did this ground attack aircraft have effective cannon and rockets, but a revolutionary cluster bomb. Up to 192 were carried in 4 external dispensers, with a heat charge that could penetrate the thin upper armor of German tanks. Not surprisingly, Soviet and German statistics for the Ilyushin vary to the extreme, with the Russians claiming the Ilyushin as an extreme tank killer. What is known is that it didn't carry as much ordnance as the Hawker Typhoon, but it was easy to produce, and its numbers meant that it could dominate the skies. Its thick armor also provided pilots with a high survivability rate when performing ground attack sorties. Number 2, the Junkers Ju-87, aka the Stuka, first flown in 1935. This will be our most dated aircraft on the list, but definitely one of the most iconic, with its military career starting in 1937, being used during the Spanish Civil War, right up until the final days of World War II when it was slowly being phased out by the excellent ground attack version of the Focke-Wulf 190, which could have easily made this list. Though the Ju-87 was showing its age by the end of the war, it deserves credit for innovations including automatic pull-up dive brakes under both wings, which would recover the aircraft if the pilot blacked out from G-forces. Furthermore, the iconic dive sirens not only were excellent propaganda for German air power, a trained pilot could also measure the speed of his dive without looking at the instrument panel based on the pitch of the siren. The Stuka was used as a highly successful, reliable, and accurate dive bomber at the start of the Blitz, during the invasion of Poland, France, and Norway. During the Battle of Britain, the Stuka was used against radar facilities and other ground targets successfully, but could not fend for itself without fighter escorts. By the end of the war, 6,000 Ju-87s were built. Interestingly, one of the most decorated pilots of the entire war was a Stuka pilot. Hans Ulrich Rudel was credited with an outrageous tally of hits on over 500 tanks, a battleship, a cruiser, landing craft, and artillery. He flew 2,530 ground attack missions. Alright, number 1, the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. Though the Thunderbolt didn't see prolific action until the later half of the war, it was by far the toughest, heaviest hitting performance fighter bomber during the whole war. Fully loaded, carrying rockets or bombs with a payload capacity of 1,100 kilograms, a P-47 could weigh up to a massive 8 tons. The P-47 fought both in the Pacific and European theaters, capable of multiple roles. Not only an excellent fighter bomber, but also an excellent escort aircraft, powered by an 18-cylinder radial engine producing 2,600 horsepower. With 8 50 caliber machine guns, the P-47 outclassed virtually anything trying to intercept it. P-47s were even responsible for shooting down 20 advanced German Me-626 jets before the end of the war. In its ground attack role, the P-47 proved nearly invincible, largely in part due to its massive radial piston engine, which acted as an iron shield from head-on attack. Its size also allowed it to carry significant ordnance. P-47s carrying 2 500-pound bombs developed the technique of skip bombing and were able to skip bombs into railway tunnels to destroy hidden enemy trains or vehicles. P-47s would be used extensively around the world by air forces long after the end of World War II. Alright, I'm Johnny. Remember, this is not an exhaustive list, nor am I anything other than a hobby historian. So if you want to add to or criticize anything I've said, please feel free to do so in the comment section below. Also, if you want to support the channel, consider liking the video or subscribing, and we will see you next time.